feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Brian Giles with Brian Giles MTG. And we're back with more Mystery Booster 2 spoilers. Starting off, we have Thopter Foundry, which is a hybrid white, black, and blue for an artifact that reads, pay 1, sacrifice a non-token artifact to create a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact creature token with flying, and you gain a life. Classic Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, a green and blue and 1 for a 6/6 legendary Elder Giant. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escapes. Whenever Uro enters the battlefield, attacks, you gain 3 life and draw a card. Then you put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Has an escape cost of 2 green and 2 blue, and exile 5 other cards from your library. Because of its initial ETB effect, this thing got banned in several formats. We went over Wowzer the Aspirational. Now we have Wrath of Leknef. 2 white, a blue, and 1 for a sorcerer reads, destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated. Untap up to 4 lands you control. Now that is a little overpowered. Yeah, that test card almost, yeah, that's like one of those, this needs to be banned now. Fortunately, it's just a test card and it's not legal in any format. We have Zancha, Sleeper Agent, a red and black and 1 for a 5/5 legendary Phyrexian minion. It enters the battlefield under the control of an opponent of your choice. It attacks each combat if able, can attack its owner or planeswalker its owner's controls. Pay 3, then its controller loses 2 life and you draw a card, and any player may activate this ability. So it's kind of a group hug type of Phyrexian gig. Yorion Sky Nomad is 2 hybrid white blues and 3 for a 4/5 bird serpent. It can be your companion as long as your starting deck contains at least 20 cards more than the minimum deck size. It has flying. Yorion enters the battlefield, exile any number of non-land permanents you own and control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. So it has a blank ability. Next up, we have some colorless cards. Has Classic Environmental Sciences, one of the best lessons ever. 2 mana for a sorcery lesson. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and gain 2 life. Indicate, another meme card for 0 mana. You target permanent. Sorcerer reads target permanent. And you by Sword Markov. Karn the Great Creator, 4 mana for a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker Karn. Activated abilities of artifacts your opponent's control can't be activated. +1 loyalty until your next turn. It's 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature with power and toughness equal to its mana value. -2 loyalty. You may reveal an artifact card for you own from outside the game, or choose a face-up artifact card you own in exile. Put that card into your hand. We went over Kozilek Completed. Then we have Marchesa's Surprise Party. It's a conspiracy secret mission. Start the game with this conspiracy face up in the command zone for the game. Secretly choose one of the following. During your end step, if you meet the condition, you may reveal your choice and turn this card face down. When you do, collect the reward. You cast 3 or more spells this turn. The opponent lost 6 or more life this turn, or there are 9 or more cards in your graveyard. The reward is to draw a card. Again, kind of memeing the conspiracy cards. Then we have Omnipresent Imposter, 2 generic for a basic creature shapeshifter with changeling. Omnipresent Imposter has all card names. You may search your library for 1 or more cards. You may choose Omnipresent Imposter as one of those cards. For example, if you search for 2 land cards, you may find Omnipresent Imposter and a land card. Next up, we have Rule with an Even Hand. The conspiracy starts the game with this conspiracy face up in the command zone. You can attack with an odd number of creatures. Whenever you attack, double target creature's power until end of turn. I think you could have done more with that, but yeah, I like that. And we already covered Who's That Praetor earlier. So next up we have Aether Vial. 1 mana for an artifact at the beginning of your upkeep. Put a charge counter on Aether Vial. Tap it. You put a creature card with a mana value equal to the number of charge counters on Aether Vial from your hand onto the battlefield. Of course, Arcane Signet. For 2 mana, you an artifact, tap it to add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Basalt Monolith, 3 mana for an artifact that doesn't untap during Basalt Monolith doesn't untap during your untap step. Tap it to add 3 colorless. Pay 3 generic to untap Basalt Monolith. Classic Black Vice. Back in the OG days, this thing could be a menace. 1 mana for an artifact. As Black Vice enters the battlefield, choose an opponent. At the beginning of the chosen player's upkeep, Black Vice deals X damage to that player, where X is the number of cards in their hand minus 4. This was a turn 1. I'm gonna just take 3 life from you. Engineered Explosive. X mana for an artifact with Sunburst. Pay 2, sacrifice Engineered Explosive. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value equal to the number of charge counters on Engineered Explosive. Ensnaring Bridge, 3 mana for an artifact that reads creatures with power greater than the number of cards in your hand can attack. We have Erratic Portal, 4 mana for an artifact that reads, pay 1, tap it, and return target creature to its owner's hand unless its controller pays a generic. Goblin Charbelcher, because we hate this card. 4 mana, pay 3, tap it, reveal cards from the top of your library to reveal a land card. Goblin Charbelcher deals damage equal to the number of land cards revealed this way to any target. If the revealed land card was a mountain, Goblin Charged Belcher deals double that damage. Instead, put the revealed cards at the bottom of your library in any order. People love playing this in mono red goblin decks, and it just does work. Next up, we have Graph Digger's Cage for a generic mana. You get an artifact. Creatures in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from graveyards or library. We have Grinding Station. 2 mana for an artifact that reads, tap it to sacrifice an artifact. Target player mills 3 cards. If an artifact enters the battlefield, you may untap Grinding Station. You have Hollow One, 5 mana for a 4/4 artifact creature golem. Costs 2 less to catch for each card you've cycled or discarded this turn. Cycle for 2. Isochron Scepter. Lots of people love this card. 2 mana for artifact with imprint. When Isochron Scepter enters the battlefield, you may exile an instant card with mana value 2 or less from your hand. Pay 2, tap it, and you may copy the exile card. If you do, you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Yeah, lots of people love playing counter spells with that, or any kind of 2 mana spells. Next up, we have Karn Legacy Reforged, a star. 5 mana for star legendary artifact creature golem. The card legendary Reforged power and toughness equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts you control. Beginning of your upkeep, add a colorless mana for each artifact you control. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells. Till end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Krark Clan Ironworks, 4 mana for an artifact that reads, sacrifice an artifact, add 2 colorless mana. Another commander staple in Lightning Greaves, 2 mana for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has haste and shroud, equipped for 0. Lotus Petal, 0 mana artifact. Tap and sacrifice Lotus Petal, add 1 mana of any color. Luxior Ignited. 4 generic for a legendary artifact planeswalker equipment Luxior. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each counter on Luxior Ignited. +1 loyalty attaches equipment to up to 1 target creature you control. -2 loyalty. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, gains double strength till end of turn. It is a 1 loyalty planeswalker, by the way. Next up, we have Meekstone. 1 mana for an artifact. Creatures with power 3 or greater don't untap during their controller's untap step. Memnite, another 0 casting cost artifact construct token. Microscope, 2 mana for an artifact that has tap it to surveil 1 or tap it, target permanent card in graveyard becomes a 0/0 black germ creature token in addition to its other colors and type until end of turn. This effect ends if it leaves the graveyard. Except we have Mishra's Bauble, another 0 casting cost artifact. Tap it to sacrifice it to look at the top card of your target player's library, draw a card. Beginning of the next turn's upkeep. We already talked about Mox Poison. Next up is Orb of Origin, a 0 cast cost Poly artifact. Pay 2 mana to add 1 mana of any color. Other non-creature artifacts are mono and continuous. Each activated ability of mono artifact costs an additional tap to activate if it doesn't already include a tap symbol. So as long as a continuous artifact is tapped, it loses all abilities. Power Matrix. 4 mana for an artifact that reads, tap it, target creature gets +1/+1, gains flying for strike, trample, and trample till end of turn. Proteus Staff. 3 mana for artifact that reads, pay a blue and 2 and tap it. Put target creature on the bottom of its owner's library. That creature's controller reveals cards from the top of the library total and reveal a creature card. That player puts that card onto the battlefield, the rest of the bottom of their library, in any order. Activate only as a sorcery. Relic of Progenitus. 1 mana for an artifact that reads, tap, target player exiles a card from their graveyard. Pay 1 and exile a Relic of Progenitus, exile all graveyards, and draw a card. Ruined Terror. 6 mana for a 6/6 artifact creature elemental champion. Instead of taking turns as normal, players take their phases sequentially. For example, take your beginning phase as the active player, then the next player turn order becomes the active player and takes their beginning phase. After each player had a beginning phase, do the same for main. First main, combat, second main, ending phase, and then beginning phase again. If this creature leaves the battlefield, the active player continues their turn as normal. Okay, that's very weird. Sensei's Divining Top. Everybody loves the top. 1 mana for an artifact that reads, pay 1, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put them back in any order. Tap it to draw a card, then put Sensei's Divining Top on the top of its owner's library. Serum Powder. 3 mana for an artifact that reads, tap it to add a colorless. Anytime you can mulligan, Serum Powder is in your hand. You may exile all cards from your hand and draw that many cards. Smokestack. 4 mana for an artifact that reads at the beginning of your upkeep. Put a soot counter on Smokestack. Beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a permanent for each soot counter on Smokestack. Soul Ring. 1 mana. Tap it to add 2 colorless. Static Orb. 3 mana for an artifact that reads. As long as Static Orb is untapped, players can untap more than 2 permanents during their untap step. Sword of the Meek. 2 mana for artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+2. Equipped for 2. Whenever a creature 1/1 creature enters the battlefield under your control, may return Sword of the Meek from the graveyard to the battlefield attached to that creature. The Rack. Another throwback to the OG days. Single mana for an artifact that reads, as the Rack enters the battlefield, choose an opponent. Beginning of the chosen player's upkeep, the Rack deals X damage to that player, where X is 3 minus the number of cards in their hand. Thornbite Staff, 2 mana for a Kindred Artifact Shaman Equipment. Equipped creature has 2. Tap it. This creature deals 1 damage to any target whenever This creature dies, untap this creature. Whenever a shaman creature enters the battlefield, you may attach Thornbite Staff to it. Equip for 4. Thought Vessel, 2 mana for an artifact that reads, you have no maximum hand size. Tap it to add a colorless. Good old Tormod's Crypt, 0 mana. Tap it to sacrifice Tormod's Crypt. Exile target player's graveyard. Torpor Orb, 2 mana for artifact creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger. We have Tesabo's Web, 2 mana for an artifact that reads. Enters the battlefield, draw a card. Each land with an activated ability. An instant mana ability doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Umbral Mantle, 3 mana. Group creature has pay 3, untap this. This creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Equip for 0. Urza's Bauble. 0 mana for an artifact that reads. Tap it and sacrifice Urza's Bauble card at random in target player's hand. You may draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. Walking Ballista. So 2 X's for a 0/0 construct. When Walking Ballista enters the battlefield, put X +1/+1 counters on it. Pay 4, put a +1/+1 counter on Walking Ballista. Remove a +1/+1 counter from Walking Ballista and deals 1 damage to any target. So I'm going to stop this at 21 minutes because we have lands to go, and I don't want to make a shorter video. And the land should cover the last video. So we'll see you on the